man like that.
Yes. Yes. Welcome to this week's Broadway Bachelorette, where we recap all things Bachelor Nation. I am your host, Hayley Podschun, and you guys, we have so much to cover, so let's get started. This has been the first time that we are actually meeting face-to-face, me and my guest. We have been a part of a Bachelor Nation group chat with other fellow Broadway talents for the past year plus. She made her Broadway debut at the age of 11 in Hot Feet. Following that, she was part of the original 2016 Chicago company of just a small musical, maybe you've heard of it, Hamilton. From there, she bopped back over to Broadway to dance in Head Over Heels, and then bopped back to Hamilton Land, joining the Philip Touring Company. She was most recently in the out-of-town tryout in the new musical Bliss. Ladies and gentlemen, the beautiful Samantha Polio.
Hello.
Welcome to the show.
Oh my gosh, this is so exciting. Also, just a pig.
Frankie. This is Samantha's dog, Frankie. We just met. So how long have you been watching the Bachelor franchise?
I kind of started watching it in college. I wasn't like a religious, like every week person that would like tune in. I would say like when I was in Chicago doing Hamilton and Mondays were our day off, it was like everybody would get together and we would just drink a lot of wine and it became a thing, but also like I became very obsessed and now it's something that I commit to every week when it's on. Anytime I've ever joined a new cast, it's always like who here watches The Bachelor? Like, do you guys want to get together? Like, I will bring cheese if you bring wine. That's like how I became part of the group chat, was because when I joined the tour of Hamilton, Aaron Albano was like, do you watch The Bachelor? And I was like, yes.
We have a lot to cover.
And I was crazy.
We opened up on the group date that we like never finished last episode. And I don't want to spend too much time on him because I think he's awful, but we have to talk about Yosef.
I knew he was trouble from night one with the whole like he was messaging girls. I don't know, he just seemed a little too aggressive in his approach. This is toxic masculinity at its finest.
I knew he was going to be the villain of the season. I thought he would last longer. Granted, the length of Claire's season will probably be only 4 episodes, so I guess he made it pretty long in the scheme of her season.
I was filling in my boyfriend last night. I was talking about Luke P from Hannah B's season, and I was like, in the grand scheme of things, he actually reminded me a lot of Luke P. And kind of his approach. I guess if you think about like a 4 episode long season, then he lasted as long as Luke P did.
For me, it was annoying that he was bringing up this red flag stuff about her behavior on the group dates when he wasn't even on the group date.
Absolutely. To play, I guess like almost devil's advocate for a second, please. I did appreciate him saying, I would never want my daughter to see me doing that. I think that that is a very fair and valid point to make. I think that there was a way to approach that was maybe far different than what he did. And also when Claire was like, that's why you weren't on the group date, like just like in any conversation in any relationship, know that you were being considered, and that could have been the end of it.
Thank God Claire kicks him to the curb. He's out. Bye, Yosef. We will never miss you. We will never hopefully see you ever again on any Bachelor franchise. Dale comes over, saves the day, and she says,
I'm so falling in love with Dale.
Yeah, something else going on there. Also, I don't know if it's too early for me to dish this, but did you happen to notice that she referred to him as her fiance?
Fiance!
I really don't think I can sit there and go, you've dished on my fiance so hard. Like,
they also very clearly chose to not edit that out.
Correct.
Like, is this something that like maybe we're supposed to be paying attention to?
Well, I can't wait to see how they edit the rest of this season, meaning the last episode, which is probably next week. I mean, we've already gotten a preview for Tayshia.
She came out of the pool. She came out of the La Quinta pool.
Let's just like quickly chat because it was a part of a thing. Deanna comes in. They have like a girl chat. Like, who cares? Also, how long was Deanna being quarantined so she could make this small cameo?
I was dying when she was like, you know the phrase, when you know, you know. Like, did you really need to bring her out here?
Right.
For that? I think like Claire, she's so in love with Dale that she's like very boring.
What was not boring was her bringing out Dale's pants.
And smelling them.
I mean, they smell like it. Let me see. I mean, I don't know man sizes. All night, I was like this. I was sleeping, and I was like,
I understand, like, you know, when we're in high school, like you have like your boyfriend's shirt, a pant, and then to be smelling the pant.
And like smelling them, like just like putting them up to her face. I was like, are we okay? Are we okay?
We have a group date, and this for me is where Claire started to turn. I did not appreciate that she made those guys wait for 4 hours to find out that they would not be having a day date. They would instead be having a cocktail date. I thought that was so rude.
Just cancel the date.
Dale goes off first, and she brings him back to her room. There was something that I kind of enjoyed watching every time that they would meet up together. You're like with someone, and then all of a sudden someone walks in, and you have to like pretend like you're doing nothing. Like it was kind of cute.
I don't personally think Dale has much of a personality.
I agree.
I did like him being like, I'm gonna catch a bunch of flack for this from the guys. I appreciated that. And then him like just kind of like, all right, and like sauntering out while like someone else was waiting by the door.
Another thing they did not cut out, once Easy comes in, it's like, just like make the rest of this night, like, let's just let it go.
Yeah. Yeah. She's like, can we just like rush the rest of this along?
Loved it.
In a way, I feel bad for them. But like, I mean, if you know that saying, when you know, thank you, Deanna.
When you know, you know.
And then she repeated it back and she was like, you know, when you know. I was like, oh my gosh, how many different ways can we rearrange all the words in this phrase?
Fast forward to the one-on-one date with Zach J. I don't know if you caught this very small clip of him earlier. He's in a purple tank top. It was terrible. And I was like, well, this is not going to end well. We go on a spa date, and this was a really uncomfortable date.
I think there were like a lot of things to dissect. I think first of all, like clearly her mind was elsewhere and on another person.
Yes.
But also I feel like even if that wasn't the case, it was baseline just like awkward.
I had a visceral reaction when those two women walked in to do their feet and they were not wearing masks.
hey, welcome.
Hello.
Yes, that bothered me.
I understand that this was earlier in the year when we all still were trying to figure out like what to do. But now that it's such a part of our everyday life, and I'm like, wear your masks. Claire leaving the first part of their date when she goes in for the kiss.
Yeah. Cool. What? Oh.
I screamed. It was definitely a misunderstanding, but like the way that he grabbed her,
the neck grab is unacceptable.
The neck grab that literally looked like it was about to be a chokehold.
Yeah.
And then also when he like put his hand on her stomach and like dug his fingers into her, I was like, no. I wouldn't let anyone that I was in an intimate relationship with touch me that way, let alone someone that I'm on basically a first date with.
Agreed.
She was already kind of uncomfortable, not because he was making her feel uncomfortable. She just like clearly didn't want to be there. But then when she was like, can we just go get ready? Can we just go get ready? I was like, oh my God. I'm not really a big fan of her at the moment, just because I feel like the group date was really weird, but I felt really bad for her.
For her to be so upset that he didn't kiss her back, I was annoyed at that because I was like, well, you don't even like this person and you caught him off guard. I don't know. That rubbed me a little bit the wrong way. But then it completely flipped when he went to choke her.
And then when Chris Harrison showed up for dinner, I mean...
The fact that they made someone set that up, light that whole scene, made me very upset.
After years of watching this franchise, something that will never get old to me is seeing the producer come get someone's packed suitcase from the front door. The fact that every time you go on a one-on-one date, your bag is packed by the front door, and then like poor like producer number 4 just like walks in and like wheels it out. I was like,
and I like watching the guys' reactions too, especially when that door opens. You've got 25 heads going.
Literally.
Finally, on our last group date, we have a roast. I love Margaret Cho. I loved that they said, well, you have to have an audience. My brain did not go to 2020 reactions of, they can't have an audience. My brain was, of course they have to have an audience. And then when they said, it's the rest of the guys, I was like, I was shocked.
Funny enough, my brain was the exact opposite of yours. As soon as they were like, well, we need a live audience, I was like, no.
Basically, everyone was roasting Dale. If I were in Claire's position, I would have been uncomfortable as well. You have all these guys bad mouthing him.
Like, it's a bit early in the season for that. Like, no
I
one
agree.
really knows each other yet. Who was it that she was talking to, where she was like digging? She was like, what was it? Dale said that he was the best suited. What was it? And I was like,
Well,
girl,
she said that to every single guy.
you pride yourself on being a mature person. So, like, that felt very high school to me.
I agree. She did not come off well from like the middle of this episode on. Scene time?
Okay, yes.
Samantha has not seen the scene. This is a cold read. This is verbatim something that happened in the show last night. It is between Claire and Zach, and usually I let my guest choose, but I am casting you today as Zach.
Oh, fun. Oh my God. Okay. Oh my God, this is hilarious. Where am I going? Up here? Okay, just leave them. Oof, you got me good. Ugh, I guess I do have a couple of ticklish spots. Yeah.
Is this like the worst state for you? Do you hate feet?
I mean, it's a little outside of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
Absolutely happy to do it. I could be getting a tattoo on my foot right now and I'd be having a good time. You know, you gotta go through some tough things along the way. I mean, I've never bungee jumped, but if you told me to right now, I'd be like, let's go.
Yeah.
That scene killed me. A tattoo, pedicure, bungee jumping.
It's a perfect example of his likes and interests, I think.
But he didn't mention going to the gym or purple tank tops or grabbing people.
Samantha, thank you so much for being my guest.
Oh my God. No, thank you for having me. I will always talk about The Bachelor.
Where can people find you on socials?
My Instagram and Twitter are the same, and it is Peanut Polino. You can find me there, and I usually am reposting lots of Bachelorette things.
Thanks for being a part of the Broadway Bachelorette. Thank you to everyone who was viewing and watching with us today. I am still figuring out if I'm going to be able to film next week with my schedule. So forgive me if we have a week off, but I will try to be back the week after. I don't want to miss any of this season because it's full of loops and turns. But it was so wonderful to like finally meet you face to face via Zoom.
Oh my gosh. I know. Like someday we'll be in the same room together.
We will see you guys soon on the Broadway Bachelorette.
Bye.